Hello everyone, welcome back to another Starfield video. So something that was brought up to me many times within the last several days or so that I wanted to make a video on revolves around who is making this game of Starfield as compared to previous other Bethesda titles. There is a big distinction between the fact that Bethesda has multiple branches of which make different games and publish other different games. I think this is an important video to make because it's going to help fans out there who might not know the details behind this and could potentially help their decisions to buy or not buy the game. Whatever decision you make is up to you. I don't control what people do. If you all could please like the video, subscribe, and comment down below as we get into this video's topic. So Bethesda, as many people know, is a big conglomerate of a gaming studio that has made many different types of games over the tenure that this studio has been around for since the late 90s going into the early 2000s. They are also a company that has over the years found itself branching off into different sub-studios such as Bethesda Game Studios, Bethesda Game Studios Austin, and Montreal. They also have been publishers for other games that were developed by many other different named studios. To use one of the biggest examples, and one of the most recent ones, is Redfall. Redfall was a game that was made primarily by a developer studio named Arcane, but the publisher was Bethesda. Bethesda had very little involvement in the actual making of the game per se, but just acted as a publisher of sorts. Again, Arcane was the primary developer, not Bethesda. Another example everyone is using when comparing Starfield as to whether this game will be like another example of Bethesda's games is Fallout 76. This was the most recent Fallout game to come from Bethesda and also just their most recent game period. It was met with a lot of harsh backlash from fans based on some of the choices that were made around certain things inside the game. Namely, two of the biggest things that I could find were with regards to the microtransactions and economical decisions made around it, but also the in-game decisions around gameplay with regards to putting multiplayer and a battle royale inside of it. Obviously, it dealt with some other things too with regards to bugs and glitches and stuff like that, but that's, I feel, usual for some of Bethesda's games. It is those other two factors that I think if they were much better off in the game, I think people wouldn't have noticed as much with the bugs and glitches even inside. The point to make here though is that if we go online and look at who the developers were for this game, you'll notice that all of Bethesda's repertoire, the one game that had maybe the most development from how many people worked on it was Fallout 76. You have Bethesda Game Studios, you have Bethesda Game Austin, you have Bethesda Games Montreal. The other two are two of the company's newest branches. For the most part, a lot of people have spoken about how those other two branches were the ones who were the main focus of development, while the main Bethesda branch was dipping their hands in every now and then with Todd Howard. This main branch had started working on Starfield in 2016, while this Fallout 76 game had come out in 2018. So you could clearly tell that there was a bit of a mix-up between how many people were working on that game versus some of the other really bad economical and business decisions made around microtransactions and within the multiplayer side of things. I think me and a lot of other people out there would agree that this game just did not need a battle royale because, for one, this was at the time where every studio and their mother was making a battle royale and it just got oversaturated. Everyone wanted to replicate what Fortnite did, and Fallout 76 succumbed to that unfortunate event. On top of that, again, this is maybe the most important point that I can make in this entire video, but if you go back and look down the line at all of the games that Bethesda had created, you'll see a very interesting pattern. Fallout 4 was created solely and developed by Bethesda Game Studios. The same goes for Fallout 3 that came before Fallout 4, and then even to some of their other bigger titles like Elder Scrolls games from Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, and whatever Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be when it comes out in the future. You can see that there is a very clear pattern on which branch to work on which game. Taking into account another example with the modern Doom games, or in this case I should say Doom 2016, you'll notice that Bethesda Games Austin had a hand in the development, but the main developer for both that game and Doom Eternal was ID Software. Both games were also published by Bethesda Softworks. So again, there is a pattern to everything here, and I think people need to understand this when knowing who is really the true developer of all these games. Again, I want to harken back to the example of Redfall. That game was not mainly developed by Bethesda. It was mainly developed by Arcane Studios, but published by Bethesda. If you go and look up the information on Starfield, you'll notice that the one main developer is Bethesda Game Studios and no other branch of the main company. Fallout 76 was also at a time where you started to notice that there was a lot of gaming studios out there that thought business decisions around focusing on money were the main focal point. With Starfield, at least for the time being, and what we have seen so far, it looks like it is the exact opposite. There has yet to be a single mention of microtransactions or any possible notion of a business decision that would mainly focus on the money-making opportunity rather than the creative decisions of the developers to make a good, fun video game that would last them for years. since after all, this is potentially going to be Bethesda's biggest game that they've ever made. That is at least until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, which I don't know much about Elder Scrolls, but with how long they are taking to make that game since the last one came out with Skyrim, I truly wonder how big that game is going to be, honest to God. I also want to make this abundantly clear, but this video is in no way, shape, or form meant to be a video based on defending Bethesda or sucking up for them. When a gaming studio makes a mistake and releases a game in a way that focuses primarily on the money-making decisions over the creative process, that's where I start to get annoyed. For the most part, if you look down at all the games that they've ever made, Fallout 76 really is the only one that fell into that hole. Fallout 76 wasn't the only game that fell into that hole either, with regards to other different franchises that have gone down this route and just making games live service with battle passes and so on and so forth, focusing on microtransactions and not putting out good content that will last people a long time in the game's life cycle. Fallout 76 really was their big mistake, and sometimes even a great studio can make a mistake. From everything I personally have seen so far of this game, it does leave me optimistic. Again, I want to make this clear. If you are somebody who is not looking forward to Starfield, by all means you have every right to not be looking forward to it. I don't want to change your mind if you don't believe I could. I would love to, but at the end of the day, everyone is able to feel how they want. The same goes for people who are optimistic like myself. If we are excited for the game, I feel like we should be allowed to do so. It is also important that people do their research and make sure that they are up to speed with what is happening in and out of the development of these games. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who don't realize these little to big facts about who is developing what game and who is publishing this game and so on and so forth. It takes a great deal to know something so that way in the future you are not putting yourself in a position to where you might embarrass yourself based on the knowledge that you originally had. And listen, I've made mistakes before in the past too with regards to certain pieces of information that I didn't know about. We all do this, okay? No one is, excluded from not having made a mistake like that before with regards to knowing certain pieces of information before going into something that they had to do. That is why, again, I think this video is important for people to watch so that they can get an idea as to who is making this game in the first place. The last thing I will say, based on everything that I've said already, is that if you down below in the comments want to disagree with me on the things that I've said, I will happily implore you to do so. At the same time, I implore you to do it on the basis of being respectful and disagreeing with me respectfully in a way to where we are not going at each other's throats. I've had a lot of people in the last several days with all the videos that I've uploaded around Starfield that really are just trying to say negative things, being sarcastic for the sake of being sarcastic without adding anything to the video, and then they just don't even engage with the topic itself of that video. I want people to be able to have conversations with each other. I want to be able to talk with people regardless of where we stand. I am hoping a video like this opens it up for more people to understand each other, for just being able to know where we stand with our hype for the game, or even if we might not be that excited for Starfield. Wherever you stand, you are allowed to think that way. You just don't let it get in the way of how others feel differently than you. Everyone is different. We are all going to think differently on things. That is what makes us human. So with that being said, I hope you all have enjoyed this video and are looking forward to opening yourself up more to conversations with other people who you may have had disagreements with in the past with regards to a game like this, or even just any other game that has come out. Again, it is important to know who is making this game so that it gives you an idea based on past experiences with the studio and what they have also made. Again, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to drop it a like, comment down below your thoughts on everything that I had to say, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you're looking forward to more Starfield content. I'll see you all soon in another video. This is Orion, signing out.